So I'm here with Joe Kerins, who's a certified college funding specialist. My name's Dave Kozak. I'm the founder of Elite Collegiate Planning and one of the managing partners of Paradigm Financial Group. Joe and I have been on a very similar journey together, trying to teach people and society and families about college planning. And more often than not, Joe, would you agree that you'll say I'm a college planner and people are like, well, what does that mean? Like, what is it? What is it that you do? How do you differentiate college planning? I mean, we're both financial planners by trade and background, but we've really focused in on this college niche.
Yeah, and I think typically when you tell somebody, oh, I'm a college planner, they immediately go to, oh, so you help families with 529s. That's probably the number one thing that they go to. But really, I think, to being a financial advisor and helping families before I became a college planning specialist was, I thought 529s was the best way to save. And the differentiating factor is how financial aid is played, how you play the financial aid game. That changes the entire aspect of how to properly plan. And so when you talk about what makes you a college planner, well, it's because we know how to position people to play the financial aid game the right way.
When you say, and I think you're spot on, it really is, suddenly in life, you get to the point where your children are, 15, 16, 17, and financial aid comes into the picture, and it's a real concern with college. When you say financial aid game, elaborate on that a little bit. What is that financial aid game?
So, I mean, an easy way I used to explain it to families was, if you're planning for retirement, would you plan for your retirement with zero Social Security? Like nothing from Social Security? Or would you plan that the government's going to give you something? Right? So if you're planning on, hey, I want $100,000 of income, but Social Security is going to give me 20. Well, does that mean I have to replace 80,000 or the full 100? Financial aid is very similar in that there is money that is available to you to essentially bring your cost down. And so there's money that these schools have. There's areas where you can find money to essentially say, okay, I've been told all my life that a school may be $70,000 a year. And if you don't know how financial aid works, that's what you're going to plan for, is $70,000 a year. When you bring financial aid into the picture, that number could be, extremely low, depending on the school choices and things like that. So when you talk about financial aid, it's the easiest way I've always described it is if you go into a Best Buy or a store and they're saying, okay, we have two TVs and this TV is $2,000 and this one is $10,000. But you don't see that, hey, this other TV is 90% off.
Yeah.
This $10,000 TV is 90. Well, you would immediately look at that and say, well, that ends up being cheaper. The sticker price is irrelevant. And financial aid is that discount. And you want to maximize your discount for schools. So you bring the price down, and now all of a sudden some schools that may be unaffordable become affordable.
Right? So it's really kind of the understanding that just because a school says, hey, we charge $75,000, it's not simply the fact that that's what they charge. Part of it is the fact that they charge that to a person who doesn't qualify, maybe. And would you agree? Because I think it's become very true now more than ever that because of the substantial price tag with some of these schools, that there are so many more people qualifying for financial aid now than they ever have.
Oh, absolutely.
When you talk about a $300,000 education, and I'll get to that in a second because I got a little thing I want to show you about my diploma, but a $300,000 education, that's big ticket for anybody. I don't care if you make $100,000 or $200,000. That's a lot of money, and it can really have a substantial impact on your long-term or life savings, your nest egg, whatever you want to call it. So I think that, to kind of summarize the game part of this and why we're college planners is we specialize in college, but we understand finance through and through. And we realized that the advice we were giving previously without the knowledge of the college game was not always good for people. And we really focused in on this niche to say this is the first time you're going to be told you have to separate with a large sum of money that you've been saving for a very long time. And if you don't address this right, I think you'll agree, it's going to have an impact on retirement or on future cash flow or whatever you were trying to achieve. And so you can't, the adage, I heard you in a presentation earlier this week, and I think your comment was something like, when you first came into the business, they would say, you can always borrow for college, but you can't borrow for retirement.
Yep.
What's the reality on that?
So that's what I was taught. That's what I was taught when I came into this business. And that was it's almost a cop out. It's tell people they need to save for retirement because you can't borrow. So I don't need to coach you through college. And once you learn this, you go, well, wait a minute. If I have to borrow, as you said, $300,000 with interest, how soon can I pay that back? If I'm 45 years old and I have kids, multiple kids that are about to go to school, and I borrow $300,000 for each of them,
yeah,
you telling me that almost $1 million without interest is not going to affect my retirement? No, of course.
Yeah, because I mean, if you just think of it simply, you have 3 kids, I have 4 kids. I'm going to be a lot older when my youngest goes than my oldest goes. So there's an 8-year difference in my household, and if my oldest goes and I'm 45, my youngest is going when I'm 52, 53. And they go for 4 years, we do the math, I'm 56 when I've borrowed my last sum of money, and, whether it's a 10, 15, 20 year, and I want to retire at 60, 62, 65, I have to either pay those off or carry that loan right into retirement and refinance that thing. So it's going to affect the retirement component. So I think to summarize, college planning is not different than retirement planning, or quality college planning is not different than quality retirement planning. It's just quality planning, and you have to start somewhere. And we believe that, and at Paradigm and Elite Collegiate Planning, we believe you must start with the thing you're going to have to afford first. We're not saying, hey, you have to pay for college. It's your responsibility. That is not what we're saying. What we're saying is the money's got to come from somewhere. Let's figure out the most advantageous place to get it. And then let's make sure that when you're done, you have a plan that gets you to and through retirement beyond that. That's the key.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
You can't skip over it. So
Right.
I want to share this. I had a conversation with my dad, and I went to Franklin and Marshall College. I've got a diploma. It's in Latin. I can't read it. I did go to Devon Prep and studied Latin for several years, but it's a little over my pay grade there. And my father has a very interesting perspective on things. And he sent me a picture a few weeks ago of my mortar cap from graduating college that he found in the closet. And on it, he had a Post-it note. It said, "This mortar board costs $1,703.12 per square inch." And I just love how his brain works, because that's amazing. And so I took that and said, okay, well, what did this diploma cost per square inch? And this piece of paper cost $1,807.03 per square inch, and that was in 2005. If you've ever seen one of our presentations, or you've ever seen the price comparison for the inflationary cost of education, in 2005 till today, it has been a straight line increase on a curve, or without a curve. It's been absolutely straight up. And so the cost of school since 1978 has gone up by over 1,100%. And so it's crazy to think that this piece of paper costs $1,807 per square inch. Think about that. When you delay or think, I don't need to plan now. All right. Whoop, I want to drop that. But Joe, any closing thoughts on college planning and why it's important? And I don't want to continue to reiterate the same things, but
no, again, on top of all of that, it's just you have to start. I mean, no matter where you're at, you have to start now, because there's too many things that could go wrong down the road. And proper planning, hey, it starts with just having a plan.
Agreed.
You have to start somewhere. You have to start this. And if you're going to start it, you should talk to somebody that knows the college game. Don't just think, I need to save money. You need to know impacts of, it's a very complex game. You need to know all the ins and outs, all the rules, so that you can succeed at that game.
Yeah, and I'll go even a step further. You know, think about saving $100 a paycheck, or think about saving $100 a month from the day your child's born, and take some growth rate. You know, 5, 6, 7%, whatever. If you do that, by the time your child's 18, you've probably saved with growth about $30,000.
Yeah.
That's just not enough to do it, and so it's very hard for people to rationalize sometimes. You know, putting $1,000 a month towards college because they don't have it. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I'm saying if I was giving you honest advice and you wanted to buy an investment vehicle to pay for college outright, you'd really have to put about $1,000 a month into that over the course of the first 18 years of their life.
Yeah.
And that's a big number. Thanks for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay up to date on our YouTube channel. We do this kind of conversation. We do direct, specific marketing, or not marketing pieces, I'm sorry. We do direct and specific presentations to subject matter that is relevant to the time. We do conversations candidly like this. We do all kinds of different things. We're really trying to bring our message out and explain to people what we do and who we are. So that's Elite Collegiate Planning, a division of Paradigm Financial Group.